Hey screen friends, it's your favorite home inspector. I'm at it again today. Today we're not doing a home inspection. Today we are going to talk about some photographs that we've taken while doing home inspections. So first of all, I just want to show you, this is the old one of the Carlson inspection mobiles. If you see this running around Cache Valley, you know that that's us, and we are there. This is a great day, right? Where do you put your cigarettes out? Well, this is actually a property that I own. This is was not a tenant. I bought this property in this condition, and this dude just puts his cigarette butts out. And wait, that's not all. He also puts his cigarettes out on the wall next to his bed. As he lays in bed and he smokes, he puts it out there. And then don't worry, as he's walking to the kitchen, he'll extinguish a cigarette on the hallway doorway for you. So he's not my problem anymore. He's out there renting from one of you guys. So enjoy him. This is kind of a crazy day. It doesn't take you a home inspector to tell you that there's a hole in the roof. So you can see that, we jump up on that roof and you can see a turtle vent has fallen off. Now, you guys, I try to be a decent human being, and I actually jumped down off of that roof and found that turtle vent and brought it back up and put it back on for them. So hopefully we do not still have that leak. We got that sucker fixed. This is always kind of a comical day when people say how much they love the taste of their well water, and I believe you, because you can get all your vitamins and minerals in one mouthful when it looks like this. This is just to share. This is one of the highlights of my job during the day, is to be able to look out across the valley. Sometimes it's 2 degrees. Sometimes it's 95 degrees. I don't really care. I just love being outside. If that makes you feel cold, yeah, it's probably 2 degrees. This is some creative plumbing right here. How do you guys fix your plumbing leaks? An elastic and a paper towel? That's one way to do it. And aeration. Is it dog doo-doo or is it an aeration clod? Always got to watch where you step. Oh, this is actually super sketchy. And I see this, you guys. This is someone installed their own water heater. If you look really close, there's something missing. All my experts are probably, oh, dude, I see it already. If you guys see right in between the crossed plumbing lines, there's supposed to be a chimney flute. You can see the round hole on the wall about 2 feet above the water heater. That's where the exhaust vent should have been installed. People are living in here and using that. Hope nobody died. The listing agent put on the MLS on the description that it had elevated planter boxes. I don't think that's what that is. That's a rain gutter that's full of crap that started growing plants. So let's just clean out those rain gutters. This is comical. A house that burned, and then we just left it as firewood and just kind of put some new ducting around it. And this is not the only photo I have of this. This is the same house, but this is a different house. So once again, another house that burned and was really poorly fixed. Get a home inspection. Go in your attics. Now, this is another little kind of scary thing, guys. Just because somebody puts a blue sticker that says GFCI protected outlet does not actually mean that outlet is GFI protected. There's better ways to test. Just use an outlet tester. This we see a lot. This is really common. So in Utah, we have a code. You're only allowed to have 2 layers of roofing on your house. Well, there's probably 5 there. I've got a layer of cedar shake. I got a layer of asphalt. I got 2 more layers of cedar shake and at least 1, if not 2 more layers of asphalt. So it doesn't matter how new that top coat of shingles is. If you put a new layer of shingles on top of 3 layers of cedar shakes, dude, a roofing nail is only like 1 inch long. It ain't going to get through all that. So, yeah. There is nothing wrong with this old school early 80s pellet stove. You just don't see them like this in good shape like this thing was. It was fully operational. I just thought I'd share that with you guys. That's a little neat piece of history there. Here's Brian doing a home inspection without a uniform on. He's wearing a wrong color hat. Incidentally, there is a raccoon inside of that chimney, and that was a very exciting day for me. Here is my office. This is kind of a space that I'm typically operating in. It's just a crawl space, man. And this is funny, this old goofy old water heater sitting in here. There's another one that looks just like this. There's better ways to install your stuff, guys. Better ways. And I don't mind. I'm still pretty happy in a crawl space. Here's a roof. Now, you guys, you might see this. See that colored stripe down the middle of that roof going at an angle? So a lot of times when you're getting bids for stuff and you get a roofer who comes in and he's a couple $1,000s less, well, that's because he's going to do the roof like this. This guy grabs a bunk of shingles and installs all those shingles in a row. And then he grabs another bunk of shingles and installs those ones in a row. So if you have any kind of a dye lot issue, you're going to have stripes on your roof. Whereas a good roofer is, and I don't even want to say that guy didn't do a good job, but the better roofer is going to draw shingles from multiple bunks and spread them out so that when you have that discoloration, it's so randomized that it looks like it's part of the plan. Oh, poor little dead guy. Mice. We find mice all over people's houses in their ductwork, and this little guy died and was there for a really long time. Cool thing is he doesn't stink anymore. Here is another roof with multiple layers of cedar shakes and multiple layers of asphalt, and you tell me, what are those roofer nails going into? Are they going into structure or are they going into toothpicks? It's toothpicks. That's the answer. For those of you who don't know, it's toothpicks was the answer. This is a really cool usage of some barnwood. I just really love old wood and good spaces, and I love dogs. That's my dog. It's my basement. There's some cool more old barnwood, I love using barnwood on stuff. Again, here's another one of my offices, just a crawl space with no vapor barriers. Not a lot of vapor barriers around Utah. I'm not sure why. It's a really beneficial thing to do to your house. Here's no vapor barrier with a furnace. This is a roof that is dropping all of its roofing granules. You guys can see the white kind of underlayment there where the granules are missing. That looks like some 60 grit sandpaper, man. But yeah, that's what happens when your shingles drop their granules. Here is some floor joist with no insulation in a crawl space. That's cold, drafty. Yep, that's a cold crawl space, no vapor barrier, no insulation. I had to crawl through to that other hole. This is just a stucco finish that with a big ugly crack underneath it. Not beautiful. I swear we just talked about that roof and those Dilot shingles. This is a walkway with some little windows that don't have any window wells and water gets in them and stuff. And so just little things to be aware of. This is some old knob and tube electric. The wire going through the white insulator is that's the knob and then the tube. The tubes go through the wood. You can see the wire that's just sitting there broken. That is a live wire, just waiting to zap somebody. Again, here's your office. You know, not always are we in a crawl space. Sometimes you're on a massive roof way up in the air. Super nice. Looks like the same dude that installed that last water heater, isn't it? It looks almost identical, but it's a different house. This is just a poorly finished job on a stucco roof line that is going to leak. Oh my gosh, what is that? Well, you guys, believe it or not, that I did find a real live Jedi Knight living here in Cache Valley, and she left her lightsaber where we could find it. Super funny story about this one. The realtor involved didn't quite understand why there were two heads on the lightsaber, and me and the buyer decided it was not up for us to tell her that. And so we left that room, and it was the next room when she, in her own mind, figured out what the double-sided lightsaber was for, and it was really funny as she came to that realization and said, oh my gosh, I know what the other side is for. I wish y'all could have been there. I wish I was videoing it because it was very comical. This is just an attic. It's actually a really good attic. It was built fairly well, fairly competently. I mean, everything is in good shape. Not everything is terrible on a home inspection, you guys. Sometimes we go through it and they did a good job. This is cool. So vermiculite is something we use as insulation. Vermiculite is a mineral that grows in the ground. Most of this vermiculite was mined in Libby, Montana, where they mined asbestos. There were some asbestos mines there. And so this stuff is usually got some asbestos mixed in with it and is considered to be a kind of a hazardous product. I just thought it was really cool to find a brand new unopened bag of Zonolite vermiculite insulation. This is a deck that is very crooked. Now this picture, oops, let me move my head out of your way. This deck looks like it's crooked, but it also looks like it's not that crooked. And then when we get a little closer, oh my gosh, it is so crooked. This corner right behind my shoulder broke off and was just falling. We see a lot of very sketchy, dangerous decks in the home inspection world. Here is a crawl space with no vapor barrier, very messy, very cluttery. But I don't think there was anything issues, no vapor barrier, stuff like that. And a lot of debris and junk just kicking around. Little vapor barrier in there, but it's the wrong type. White plastic. That's the crawl space hatch, just a tiny little hole you got to crawl through to get in. And that's, again, part of the job. Okay, every single one of you that has a gas fireplace, this is what it looks like underneath your gas fireplace. They're always nasty. They always smell bad when I start them up. So this is your notice to go vacuum out underneath your gas fireplace. Another house that burned and was poorly fixed. It happens all the time. This is water running down a foundation into an unfinished basement. Again, flashings. There's a lot that goes into building a house, and lowest bidder is not generally the best way to go. Here's a share, just a little bit of beauty of where I live. I'm not sure why this picture is so blurry, but this one isn't as clear as I wanted it to be. But anyhow, I love doing my job. I love getting on roofs. I love being outside. Here is the exact opposite of that. This is a dank, nasty crawl space with fiberglass insulation and spider webs and dirt, no vapor barriers, no retention. Anyhow, fun stuff. This is kind of, again, a super scary thing. This is a reality that we live in, you guys, is there's a lot of people out there DIYing it who should not be. There's people out there who can make stuff work, but it's not safe and it's not correct. So the black wires and the red wires are all double lugged. Here's a closer view. That skinny little red wire, if that circuit pushes as much electricity through as it can, it will melt that wire and cause a fire. So don't mess around with the electricity, you guys. If you're not an electrician, hire an electrician. There's safer ways to do this. Same thing with plumbing. While you're not going to get electrocuted, that is going to leak. That's duct tape sealing up that leaky old pipe. Just replace it. It's like $20 to buy the whole new plastic sink kit at Home Depot. This is a fun old house. I just wanted to share this one with you guys because it's just a cool old house. Neat turret. This is over 100 years old. This picture shows you kind of how big that 3-story property was. I was up on that roof, and it was just a cool inspection. Cool inspection. This is a house that I flipped, and so this is kind of a little before and after. We had to put some beams in and fix some stuff up, and if you'll notice that big gapping hole where that doorway is, check it out now with a beautiful barnwood door. It came out absolutely fabulous. This was a 900 square foot house that we flipped, and I think it came out really quite nice. Very cute. Very nice. This is really cool. So the coolest part about being a home inspector is I literally get exposed to when people have moments of genius and they do cool stuff. I get to see it sometimes. This was a landscape a professor who taught like landscape architecture or whatever at the university here in town, and he designed this water collection system off of his rain gutters to collect in this giant cistern. And then he uses the black line on the bottom of the photo to pump that water into use his garden. And it was just a cool setup. Simple, neat, effective, very cool. This is also another something that I don't see very often. This is a homegrown this is a home growing operation for shrooms. Not like shiitake. I believe that these are like, let's have a shroom moment. There's your dehydrator dehydrating some shrooms. There's some growing some more shrooms, and there is how we handle our spores and whatnot. I'm not familiar with this. It looks super neat, but there you go. That's what you need to do to grow mushrooms at home. And then this is a little sad, you guys. These are white walls. See in the corner how at the corners of the walls it's a lot lighter colored. This is what happens when you smoke tobacco products in your house for 20 years, 30 years. The walls turn yellow with nicotine. The white, this little circle on the right behind my head there, that was where a picture was. So, yum. TSP, trisodium phosphate. That's the best stuff to wash that off with. Now here's another one. This is an old house thing, right? Grandma and grandpa's house or whatever. These trees get so big, they grow right up against the house. They start damaging stuff. You guys, get those trees away from your house. Look, same house, different corner, another tree. Doesn't take a home inspector to tell you trees should not be hitting your structure. And here's another thing that I deal with all the time is massive wasp nests. You guys can see I've got a big old wasp sting right here on my neck from this week. I got stung. It happens because you're exposed to this kind of stuff all the time. That's a mud wasp nest or a mud dauber. They'll actually fly in and grab a spider and sting it, and it paralyzes the spider, and then they stick it in this little tube right here, and then they lay an egg in there with the spider that's paralyzed, still alive, and seal him in. And then when the egg hatches, the little larva eats the spider and then burrows out the end, and you got yourself another mud dauber. Kind of scary if you think about that. There is another giant wasp nest. This was on that big old castle house. That's huge. I think that's the same one we saw earlier. This is just a project, renovation project. Again, another one of mine. That's that same room with that old barn wood. It was just unfinished. And then I talked about the floor joists without insulation. This is exactly what your insulation should look like on those floor joists. This is urethane foam. That stuff that does a good job. And we're back to where we started, you guys. Thanks for joining us for the slideshow. I'm going to keep making these. I think it's fun. I've got a lot of neat photographs to share with you, and I hope you guys enjoy them. Thanks for watching.